All right, and we're back. Tim, great to see you. How you doing?
Likewise. Yeah, all
A-
good here. Yeah.
Again, it's been another quick 2 weeks. It feels like we were
Wow,
just
they
sitting
fly
here.
by, don't they?
Yeah, but a
Yeah.
lot has
The end of the
happened.
year before we know it.
Oh, and by the way, really quick, I want to say Craig Durr says hi. I was with him in Austin, which is his hometown,
Ah,
and he regretted that you weren't there because he likes to run with you and he has a really good running track. He's like, I had this running track I was dying to show Tim.
oh,
So
what a shame.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm sure next
Yeah.
time.
Craig's doing something new, of course, isn't he? So he's got a new
Yes.
venture. So looking forward to catching up with him at some time.
Yeah. Oh, and I should have. I don't have it up on the website yet, but if you go to the YouTube channel, and I'll put a link below when this is done. I did a interview with Craig. Just had him over to chat, no agenda, and it went so long. I got two videos out of it. One video is all about his new venture, the Collective, which go Craig. I'm really excited about it. I think that's going to be not just good for Craig and his clients, but good for all of us. He has some big plans there. And what do we talk about for the second half? The second part was, Infocom. We're both doing 2 sessions at Infocom. So if you want to know what Craig and I are talking about, check out those videos as well. So today we have some three fun things to talk about: Cisco Live, Windows Recall, and Zoholics. Let's start with Cisco Live.
Sure. Yeah. So big network and security event, of course, over 20,000 attendees, nearly 1 million virtual participants. So it's Cisco's real big gathering. And as you can imagine, a series of AI sort of announcements around innovations and investments.
No
So
surprise.
yeah, no surprise, of course, and including a 1 billion global investment fund that's really sort of dedicated to developing secure and reliable AI solutions. So that's really interesting.
Whenever
And
I
they've
hear
done
about a
some.
$1 billion fund, I always think, how do I get some?
Yes, yeah, that'd be nice. Just a
I mean,
small
right? I mean,
fraction, a little bit of a percent. Yeah,
there's got to be something I could do
absolutely.
there.
Well, one thing that they are investing in, and people that obviously like you're thinking, David, I think are here, Maestral AI, Sail AI, they're looking at enhancing areas like customer readiness and compute infrastructure and foundational models and model developments and AI training. So there's already some strategic investments there in other companies. Um, and then Cisco also have discussed things like sort of discussing things like in the realm of WebEx, it's useful. I mean, there's clearly a very distinct and separate WebEx one meeting that we all go to, an
Hmm.
event that's there. But what we have seen is a reiteration of some of the developments that WebEx have been making at Cisco Live. So things like in the realm of
They had some new
contact
stuff for us.
center. Say again, sorry.
So you're saying they had some new stuff? I'm sorry, Cisco Live. My friends at Cisco, I didn't cover it. I wasn't. I was at another event. But so, did they had some new stuff since WebEx One? Because WebEx One really impressed. I can't speak for everyone, but it wasn't just me. What they've been doing
Well,
with WebEx has been.
yeah. So what they did talk about was the AI assistant for WebEx Suite is now generally available. So that's good. So that offers things
Uh,
like meeting summaries and message rewording and translation services. There's new features in Contact Center that enable organizations to create and manage conversational self-service experiences. And you've got a specific AI contact center agent there and third-party virtual agent solutions. They reiterated information around expanding WebEx calling. So they now serve around 15 million users globally, but they've also expanded into 150 markets and
wow.
developed with Tata a calling plan for the Indian market. Yeah, I think for me it was the over the last 6 months, Cisco has really sort of worked hard in contact center capabilities. So there's
Yeah.
virtual agent summaries, so you can take a caller, a customer's self-service interactions, and then when that gets escalated to a live agent, you actually see a summary of everything that they've done, so you can catch up quickly and solve the problem very quickly. Drop call summaries, suggested responses, wrap ups, coaching highlights. So you can almost get AI to help coach your agents as you go along without having that silent monitor supervisor in your ear.
Hmm.
There were things around automatic CSAT scores, which is phenomenal. I really like this particular area. So customer satisfaction scores, AI will grade every interaction. So supervisors get feedback on 100% of all their agent interactions. so they can use that for coaching and training. And I guess that has more of an impartial, it acts as an impartial observer rather than perhaps, if you get on really well with your supervisor, they might score you a bit more highly than someone that
the AI will be neutral.
Yeah, so some really great reiterations of announcements, but it's a great opportunity to broaden the larger Cisco community as to what's going on. So not necessarily anything really new, apart from the GA announcement of the AI assistants, but always really worth reiterating that to a wider audience. So a lot of good things happening in Vegas earlier this week.
Yeah. It sounds like, and it's smart, that they're really leaning into contact center. They've been doing well with it in terms of, in terms of the product itself and its perception among the community. Myself and the other analysts, we liked everything at WebEx1, but the contact center stuff, we were like nudging each other going, that's really cool. And everyone's putting AI in their contact center, but they seem to really be hitting it. And they told us their strategy is getting customers with their contact center because it's so cool, and then saying, hey, why are you using something else for meetings? WebEx is good now. Use WebEx for meetings as well. So it seems like contact center is their flagship, and it's working for them. And I have to say, all the stuff you're talking about, it's not just new features. It's like, no, wait, hold on. I wanted to stop you at everyone and say, let's talk about how much I appreciate that particular feature. It really is good stuff.
Well, the one feature that I think we brought up before is that agent well-being one, which, AI can automatically detect agent stress levels and sort of give some prescriptive action to them, like have a break, or reroute that call or reroute that call to another agent that's not so stressed. So some really interesting things there that I haven't really heard from any other companies. So they are really sort of,
Something Craig brought up in my conversation with him, there's a flip side of that. It's understanding sentiment, and it's understanding your feelings, and it understands the agent is stressed out and go look at some puppies or whatever. But he reminded me, I saw at WebEx1 an example of it was checking the sentiment of the customer. And the customer said, hey, I got tickets for a rock concert on Saturday, and now it's saying it's sold out, but I bought the ticket, so what's going on? And they said, okay, we can give you a refund, or we can give you a ticket on Sunday night instead. And he said, okay, I'll go see him Sunday, that's fine. And the agent was like, done. And the AI said to the agent, and the agent a secret message saying, this customer is not happy. This customer is saying they're happy, but they're not happy. So the agent said, before you go, in appreciation of taking this, can we send you a free t-shirt and a this and a that and a that? And then the customer was like, whoa, that's so cool. And then the AI was like, now they're happy, you can let them go. So understanding sentiment on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really important, because if you can pick up from a series of chat messages that someone's really getting annoyed, you can prepare yourself for that interaction and sort of say, look, I understand you have been having some problems. Let me get to the bottom of it, and we'll deal with this directly. Absolutely fantastic. So I think I really get sort of excited there, because the tangible benefits in AI are very easily measured in the contact center. You can get a demonstrable ROI very quickly, because if you save 5 seconds here, 10 seconds here, that relates to hard dollar savings for agents. So, and makes life easier for them, which is the big one, because it's a very stressful job. So very, very encouraged by what I'm seeing there.
Yeah, I've learned to feel empathy for agents. I was one of those terrible people that just was a little surly with them on the phone and frustrated because they just can't help you a lot. It's getting better, but there were times when it was really terrible, and I wasn't abusive or anything, but I wasn't always as empathetic as I could be. And now that we've been covering contact center, it's I am on the side of the agents. I'm really, really on their side, and I love that the software doesn't just help me as a customer, but helps them.
And every interaction that an agent has with a client is the potential to increase sales, decrease sales, churn a customer that that's really upset. You are the brand. You are representing your. You can't really get much more of a representation of your brand than any interactions that you have in your business, and agents are right at the forefront of that.
A perfect example. Just yesterday, I was having trouble. I use QuickBooks Online, and I was having trouble. An invoice wasn't going through. I was clicking instant, and it was saying the email isn't a valid email. Try another one. I'm like, oh, maybe I have my client's email wrong. I put in my own email. It didn't work. I put in my Hotmail. It didn't work. So something was wrong in the software, and it took a while for the agent to fix it. But the entire time, whether he had AI helping or he was just intuitively in tune, I don't know. but he was very good at picking up on my mood. And when I started to feel annoyed, he would start to say, hey, let's see if we could do this to help you. Let's see if we could do that to help you. He started being social with me, like just being a nice guy and chatting with me. And he was very good at managing my emotions. Again, I don't know if it was AI or intuitive, but at the end of the call, I wasn't like, gosh darn it, it took me 30 minutes to get QuickBooks to work to do an email. I'm like, yeah, you know what, this stuff happens. And yeah, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 on the survey.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I would recommend QuickBooks to my friends. That's the last question of the survey.
when you've got AI working in the background like that, maybe they were, maybe they weren't, but the fact that's indistinguishable is really, really important, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, there's a funny commercial. I forget what the commercial's for, but it's some actress that I absolutely love. And she's on the phone and she's talking to an agent about something. And at some point, the agent says to her, well, prove that you're not a computer. And she goes, how could I possibly prove that I'm not a computer?
Click on all these bridges or you know, like the capture stuff. Click on all of these that are bikes or
yeah, she needs a capture. But I'll try to find a link to that commercial because it's really funny.
Sounds good.
So anything else from Cisco Live?
I don't think so, no. Only that it's very well attended and obviously clearly expanding into AI as everyone clearly is.
Yeah, and a shout out to our friend Zayas. I saw they had a leaderboard of social media supporters. And of course, he was at the top of the leaderboard. Not only was at the top, he had, and it was by amount of tweets, he had more tweets than everyone else on the leaderboard combined. So if you're interested in following Cisco Live, if you're interested in anything about Cisco, make sure you're following Zayas.
Absolutely.
So the next thing, I wanted to discuss, I really want to get to Zoholics, but I want to discuss first this thing I've come across. Let me get my Microsoft Recall. Have you heard about this?
I haven't. No. I'm intrigued.
Okay, so I've just read a few articles. It's very confusing. If I get anything wrong, I don't want to get sued by Microsoft. So everything I say in the next 10 minutes, allegedly, reportedly.
Your current understanding, yeah. Okay.
So their newest AI feature, Microsoft Recall, remembers everything that your computer did. I'm not sure if it's literally every click, but it might be every click. It takes a screenshot of your screen every few seconds. And of course, knowing everything that you've ever done on your computer, that could help you, be more efficient and stuff. And they say, a few things. It's all local on your computer. None of the data goes up to the cloud to Microsoft. They will never use your data to train their AI. They'll never sell your data. It's just living in your computer for your AI to use. Still, it's creepy. I saw the look on your face. I saw the look on your face. Yeah. The same look I got on my face.
My boss is going to look to see that I had an extra cup of coffee at 10:30 this morning and I wasn't moving my mouse about. Or, what is the benefit, David? Were they very? What's the benefit of this?
All that data, the AI can, say, hey, usually, I don't know, I guess help you be more efficient with the way you work and stuff. It'll know everything you're doing. I mean, it'd be the ultimate AI.
Well, what would be interesting if it's got the telemetry to say you did these 3 button presses or clicks on a Word document when all you had to do was this. Now that
potentially. I need to read into it more, but I think it could potentially be that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Benefits are there. It is real. It's not just to be creepy, but the impression it has is creepy. It's and one of the articles. Let me click a few things here.
There we go.
Yeah, the trust is the issue. And then it is the great reason for Microsoft haters to bring up all the trust failures that Microsoft has in the past. And any company that size is going to have had some failures. I mean, I don't, it's not a bash on Microsoft. Over the years, they've had trust issues, of course. It's come on. So that's kind of the impression. Let me look at some of the other.
Yeah, but even if it's things like
security nightmare. I mean, this is a disaster. More hackable than you thought.
Yeah. But if you can do things like, if instead of going to a window in Word and changing the view from 1% to 150, if you can say, well, all you have to do is hold down the control key and scroll up with your mouse or down with your mouse to change the scaling, fantastic. That's a little, that if it can help you train to become more productive and efficient on the software, which is full of bloated features and wild buttons all over the place and things like that, fantastic. I'm all in for that one. If it can help me navigate the complexity of Teams or something like that, even better. But be very interested to see how this is received.
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's just helping with Microsoft, like, oh, you should minimize when you could move, or use the Windows differently, or if it's the programs within, or your whole life. I mean, is it gonna know stuff like, hey David, you usually open Trello every day and you use that to manage stuff, and you haven't opened it in a few weeks. Do you need to go back and open Trello? Is it going to be that smart? I have no idea. It'll know that. It'll know if I stop using Trello for some reason. It'll know if I'm playing less guitar. David, are you depressed? You usually play guitar an hour every day, and you haven't picked up the guitar in a few days. I don't know. If
David,
it's taking screenshots, if it has access to my camera.
Yeah, it could be interesting. Or maybe it's like a Viva Engage for your own personal Viva Engage, where it can capture personal insights for you. Usually by this time you've done this, or maybe I've got no idea, or you shut down your computer unexpectedly, or I feel like to see where this develops.
I owe the viewers a little apology. I should have researched this better, because we would be able to analyze this better if we knew what it was supposed to do. And instead of really reading in detail what it's supposed to do, I only read the attacks. And so now we can't really have a great discussion on it. But I'm going to do the research 2 weeks from now. I'm going to tell you all exactly what this is supposed to do.
Absolutely. Sounds good.
So last, I have 3 screens and the mouse goes across all 3 screens and I always lose it. Zoholics. Let me mute and leave up Sridhar Vembu, the CEO co-founder. And this was a great event. It was, I was going to test beforehand. I don't know if the green screen's going to, okay. I thought the green screen would remove the hat. I was in Austin. I don't know if this works with the hair. All right. But in appreciation for my host, I'm going to leave this on until it annoys me so much that I have to take it off. But first of all, thanks to the host. It was a great event. I think the viewers are probably more concerned with my takeaways, but I do feel I have to thank them. It took us out to this barbecue place that's like the best barbecue place in the world, that people stand in line at 6 a.m. waiting for it to open. And when it opens, they just start selling all the food, and when the food's gone, they close. So to have it for a private event for us, and all the food we can eat. And I lived in New Orleans for 10 years. I've had good barbecue. I've had good brisket. But yeah, this was the best in the world. It was insane.
Wow.
And also, this is my first Soho event. So I want to thank Pooja, the analyst relations person. She was amazing. She personal attention, knows what I do. It wasn't just, I'm not just one of them. It's a lot. It was a big event. There were a lot of analysts, a lot of media.
I've got a question for you. Did you go by coach to any event that Zoho laid on? And did Pooja have you sing in the coach? Because that's the last time that I went to a Zoho analyst events to SpaceX. She made me sing, which was not a pleasant experience. And I have to apologize to all of my analyst friends for singing. But it was a bit of coach entertainment. And I think
every time I talk to Dominic, he's like, you have to get Tim to rap on your show, because he is an amazingly talented rapper.
Not gonna do.
At some point, not today, but at some point.
The outtakes, David, the outtakes. But I'm really impressed by Zoho. Not only is their commitment, they got a clear focus on sustainability and making sure they have great corporate responsibility in the way in which their profits are reinvested into communities. They've got very cost-effective and affordable solutions across their platforms for small to medium-sized businesses, from CRM and UC and C solutions. It's such a dynamic productivity suite that it's very difficult to do it justice just by talking about it. But very well worth a look in. And I'm pleased to hear that you had a great event. Tell me a little more around it.
Well, there's 2 stories here. There's the company and there's the portfolio. And the last, you were at the last Soho analyst event, and I was like, why is everyone just talking about the company? I want to know what the products do. And now I get it, because the company is a story. Like you're saying, they're staying private. They could go public tomorrow, and they'd all be millionaires. And the ones who are already millionaires would be billionaires. And if they're already billionaires, they'd be multi-billionaires. That's what happens. You go public, everyone's pockets get full of money. And a company this size, this profitable, usually has gone public by now. But when you go public, sometimes you have to do bad things. You have to keep your investors happy. You have to keep Wall Street happy. And you have to do things that make people say, wait, you're profitable and you're firing good people? And it's not because they're evil, terrible people that are in charge of these companies. They have to. They have to do that because that's how public companies work. He's never going to have to do that. He's also able to make choices. I thought this was pretty cool. When they open a new, office facility, they don't just choose a cool city. They choose a city. They look at the residential areas. They choose a city where their employees can afford to live. That's the biggest thing, afford to live, and it's nice to live. That's not something you usually hear. I usually hear, we're moving to San Francisco or Austin because that's where the action is. That's where the investors are. That's where the things are happening. No, they're all about that kind of stuff, and that's why it is a big story. And I think it's cool.
Fantastic. Yeah.
On the other side is their portfolio. Now, they have over 50 apps. It is unbelievable. And they're competing, they're going against Microsoft. I mean, they're also going against Google and Zoom and Cisco and everybody else. But, they kind of, actually this kind of, it was interesting. Melody Brew and I were talking about this and she kind of called them on it. They kind of write off Zoom because they do 51 things and Zoom does like, however many. They're like, and this is something that we need to get into. They had, I'm tempted to go to my phone because I took a picture. They had a slide where they said the 4 things that only one other company does, and they meant Microsoft. And one of the things in the slide was productivity. And we said to them, Zoom does that stuff, and they said, Zoom doesn't do productivity. Like, yeah, they do. They have new things now. They're like, no, they don't. So that's a discussion we need to have with Zoom. Your competitors don't even know you do productivity. You got to start promoting these amazing apps you have. We love the Zoom Workplace story, but Zoom Docs, Zoom Whiteboard, if your competitors don't even know you do that stuff, we got to get the word out.
This is an interesting segue. I was at Zoom yesterday at their London offices. So Zoom are investing a lot in a customer experience center.
That looks amazing.
Absolutely beautiful place in Holborn in London. So they're clearly making investments in terms of theaters outside of the US, which is where they predominantly make most of their money, but they're expanding into other geographies, London being a key segment they want to look at. One of the problems that you've got when you're up against Microsoft is how you sell the value of your portfolio. And it's not about numbers. You don't have to say how many apps you've got. It's understanding how they all interwork. What is the use case? How you can benefit from it? What all the different buying centers and personas are benefiting from. And that takes time. Microsoft have done it with, way back when they wanted to compete against WordPerfect, and they said, well, look, here's Office for the same. Oh, it's cheaper than WordPerfect, but you also get spreadsheets and you also get presentation stuff. So there's your PowerPoint and Excel for free. And they've done this sort of over the course of many, many decades, adding stuff to their productivity suite, adding stuff to their enterprise client access licensing, and then to 365, to the point where everyone knows what they're getting. IT departments deploy it and know where the value is from their perspective in terms of administration and management. Maybe not so much on the end user. I get infuriated by the amount of team calls that I'm on where people forget that there's a Q&A app that you can switch on so you can ask specific questions rather than putting it in chat, or people don't know how to use PowerPoint Live. So you get somebody that says, next slide, please, because they don't know how to take control of the presentation themselves.
But there's basic awareness of the general portfolio. People, even regular on the street people, not people like us, know the Microsoft portfolio. Yeah, they have PowerPoint, they have Excel, we know what they have. But they've had a lot of time to get that word out.
And it does take time, and it takes time to communicate that value. And part of that is down to us. Part of that is the outbound marketing of these large vendors like Zoho and Zoom. And it's a very difficult story to paint because it's not about, we've got this that's a bit like Microsoft, we've got this that's a bit like Google, or we've got this and that we've got 50 and they've only got 40. It's really about understanding where the value lies and how it's used. And not too many companies do a great job of that.
It's a hard message to get out because it's really customer based. You have some customers that use these 17 of your 51 apps and some customers that use these 34 of their apps, and a completely different workflow and a completely different value proposition. It's not just, it's not as simple as, I'm trying to think of a simple example, the value proposition of, this coffee mug. Use this coffee mug and you can put your coffee in it. It depends on how you use it. And every company is so different. But Zoho they are going for that big platform play just like everyone else. But I'm amazed, when we say Zoom does the big platform play, they have meetings and they have chat and, they have the basics and a few extras. Honestly, same with Microsoft and Cisco. But I think Zoho isn't just prepared to go against Microsoft. They're prepared to go against Google. Do you know they have a web browser? There's a Zoho web browser. I mean, when I say 51 apps, they have everything. And from what I've heard, it's not like they just threw it together just so they could say they have it. Other analysts have told me, and these are critical analysts, like, it's a good web browser. It has extra security features and stuff. There's a reason for it existing. It's not just so we could say we have one. It does things that Chrome doesn't do, supposedly.
And of course, what's interesting as well is the way in which these markets are viewed and assessed. So you will have the Avayas, the Mitels, the Ring Centrals of this world. And then people say, well, yeah, you do unified communications, but it's all on-prem. Or it's all up in the cloud. And then it's, yeah, we do UC plus contact center in a multi-CAS offering, combination of unified communications and contact center on a single platform, single data structure, leverage AI across the whole of your digital estate. You've got that. Then you've got the collaboration apps. So the Microsoft Loops of the world, the Zoom Docs, the scheduling, the email, the calendaring, email and calendaring that Cisco used to have, like Postpath that died a death. Anyone with heritage can understand that Cisco tried to move into that space before in terms of collaboration. Then you've got productivity suites on top of that. So the switching costs are really interesting. And the reasons why people switch are very interesting as well. It could be down to specific features. It could be down to the fact that I want the whole suite because it's easy for my IT department to administer. It's all one single license. It's getting extremely complex.
Yeah. Another example of what you were talking about how, it's not just the products, but the integrations between them. And another example of how I was just blown away by how broad. They kept saying broad and deep, because it's easy to say broad. I could show you a screenshot of all the apps and, okay, they have a lot. But each one, has a reason for being. I was speaking with their security expert, and I'm sorry I'm bad with names, but I don't remember his name, but he was really, really smart, really cool guy. And he was talking about his customers' workflow and how they use the different apps together. And at one point he's talking about using Zoho Sign. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. What is Zoho Sign? Because there's, I don't know what all the apps are. And he's describing it to me and I went, time out. Is that like DocuSign? He was like, yeah, do you use DocuSign? I'm like, yeah, I use DocuSign. It's amazing. I mean, how else would I do electronic signatures? But when I have to DocuSign, log into DocuSign, upload the document, put in my contacts email, do all this. You have DocuSign within your world, so I could just be chatting with Tim and I have to send him a document and I just do it? He's like, yeah. He's like, how much you pay for DocuSign? And I'm like, oh, you're good. I'm actually not paying for it because I only use it once every few months. But if I need to use it a couple times a month, I'm going to have to start paying for it. So the fact they have a DocuSign, the fact they have a web browser, and they're good, really, really.
And an email scheduler and a CRM and unified communications,
contact center,
and. But yeah, it's a very comprehensive portfolio.
Now the one. I always like to be positive, but I know that Pooja, once the analyst relations people really want us to be negative. Tell us if there's anything bad so we can fix it. There's nothing negative, but the only thing that the analysts were looking more for, we want a little demo accounts. We want to try this stuff. We want to be able to say that we know it's broad, we know they're good, but we've checked them out for themselves and they're okay. All I can say right now is there's one analyst in our community, I don't want to call him out. If he wants to say it, if they want to say it, they could say it. I shouldn't even gender the person, who supposedly has been using some Zoho apps and likes them, which is great start. But I want to be able to say, I made a few Zoho calls on Zoho meetings, and they don't have to be as good as Zoom. Zoom has put a lot into meetings, but I want to be able to say whatever I can say about them. So that's the one thing is. We want to try a little bit. We want to dip our fingers in, but everything else I've heard, I could say the best thing I've ever done in this industry is making friends in the analyst community, and we go out afterwards. We go out and drink afterwards, and we talk, and it was a lot of positive. It was a lot, even behind your backs, my Zoho friends. There's a lot of positive. Oh, one funny thing, John Arnold in our little group.
Yeah.
I love John. He said something that was so funny because they had the badges for us, and analyst was blue, and media press was green. And I had a green one, but I was in all the analyst things. That's always happens to me. No one knows what to do with me. And we were talking about that, and John said, David, it's okay that you're bi.
Well, it should be purple to match your hair. You know, what was it? Blue and green? Does that make purple? I can't remember back to my art class, but there we go.
Yeah, I should add a purple one. But yeah, am I an analyst or am I media? I'm bi supportive. That's what I am now. So thank you, John, for that. I'm going to be using that. I thought that was awesome. So I think that wraps it up. Infocom next week. That's too big of a trip for you.
Unfortunately, I won't be there, but wishing you every success. I know that you're going to have a fantastic session with a lot of interest there. I just wish I was a fly on the wall. Let us know how it goes.
Hopefully the sessions will be recorded. If not, I'm going to set up my iPhone and point it at myself or something because, I want to be able to share.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again, Tim. This was great as always. Thanks to our viewers. I see we have a few out there watching. Appreciate you. And of course, more will watch this on the replay as you always do. And I need to have a button for the one button I don't have is for end, because actually I do have a button for end. I'm afraid to make a button for end because I'm afraid I'll press it by accident, but I guess I actually did. And I always fuddle around at the end of these streams looking to click it. All right. Yeehaw. See you all in 2 weeks.